Questions for the tulip Calvinist Reformed people. The Bible and history are filled with repetitive cycles of nations rising and falling, or Christians having success in Christianity, then falling away. The Jews being, very Christian-y, if that's what you want to call it, and falling away. The question is, why cycles? Why did God choose, if he predetermined all things, why did he choose to use cycles that ultimately, because of predetermination, nobody can learn from? Nobody can use, at least looking backwards, nobody can really use them to make a decision that allows them to use the old situation. I can't look in the Old Testament to see how everybody failed so as to not make those decisions, so as not to fail. If God's predetermined that I'm going to fail or my nation is going to fail, we know that Jesus seems to point at the fact that history is going to continue to repeat itself. There's an example there. The whole section of Judges, 400 years worth, where a judge is raised up, brings some sanity to the Jewish nation, brings some hope, clarity, some rah, rah, rah for God, but then they fall away and another judge rises up. We know the smartest man, the wisest man to ever live, keeps saying meaningless, meaningless, nothing new under the sun, history repeats itself. This is one of my head-scratching questions where I can come up with possible responses that the Calvinist Reformed tulip might give. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to, again, state, why have cycles if you are the most creative being? You don't need cycles for any purpose, not for human purpose. You don't really need cycles because you could keep coming up with new and creative ways for nations to fall and destroy themselves, but you don't do that. You're just like a clock. You just keep going in the same 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. Same thing every time. Now, to me, it makes more sense that free will people who can make decisions based on information, based on gathering intelligence, based on what they choose to believe and follow and what directions they want to go. And of course, if they're Holy Spirit filled, they've even got more hope in choosing rightly and getting actual truth to choose and use for their basis of choice. But again, it doesn't make sense that God would be so limited in the way he goes about doing things. And then write it as history, saying these things were written so that you can learn from them. Well, no, you can't. Not if you're predetermined, right? I can get a false hope that I could learn from what I'm reading and gathering in the cycles of history. But predetermination puts a wrinkle in that, thereby, again, making the Bible false, I think. So, again, some of my words to go along with this, a few more scriptures. Feel free to read those on your own. More proof that history seems to repeat itself. And that's all. A very weird thing. It seems to me that God chose a very limited way to go about, bringing destruction and wrath as he needs for his glory, according to Reformed tulip Calvin theology. Why not do something new, something clever? Dazzle us with it, especially as Christians. Maybe God should have chosen new and creative ways instead of this boring old cycle. By the way, have you read Leviticus 26, which I should have put in here? I recommend you read it. So, over and out, head scratchers abound.